It's your friend, your coach, your business partner, Delano Mccrory. And today we are talking about all things budgeting. Now, if you remember and you've been a fan of this channel, you know that we are teaching you and showing you everything of how to build a business from someone who's actually doing it. And that's why it's called 0 to 100 million, because that is our goal and that is our plan to build that. One of the things and the main keys of actually doing that is you have to have a good budget. Now, it took me a long time to actually realize this and actually understand all the concepts that went into actually making a budget. One thing that I've been really good at as an entrepreneur is making money. Since high school, since college, and since now, I'm really good at leveraging other people, leveraging money, and leveraging things that it takes to actually make extra and additional income. One of the things I was really bad at was actually keeping that money that came in and actually budgeting it or putting it to work somewhere else. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm just going to walk you through a couple of things that I like to do with my budget, so hopefully you guys can apply it to as you build your business and as you build your brand. So let's get started.
Jeez.
The number one thing is categories. You have to have some type of categories in order to where you want to see your buckets and everything grows. And there's two category sides you need to have. The first one is you need a category of where is your money coming in from. This is super easy if you only have one source of income. Then you know exactly where you're getting all your money from and you know where it's all coming in from. The second category is where is that money going once it actually gets in your bank account? Are there bills? Are there groceries? Do you have pets that you're taking care of? Do you have kids? Do you have car payments? That's the second category. So the first category is where's your income coming from? The second category is where's your expenses going? You can easily write this out, but I like to use a Google spreadsheet or something like that in order to input everything that's coming in. And then I'll put a total amount that I'm bringing in and that I'm making for each month. And then I'll make a total amount of how much is going out via expenses or other resources. So once you got that categorized, you can at least see where everything is coming in and where everything is going, and then you'll at least be organized in that general aspect. Number two is actually taking a look at those numbers. So once you got your categories in and you see and everything is put into its organized place, actually taking a look at that. Is the amount of money coming in lower or higher than your expenses? And if so, what can you do to change? Are there things that you can cut out? There's things that you can maneuver, which we're going to talk about in 3, to actually make that more even or less in some cases. So actually have a conversation with yourself, sit down, write all this out on a paper or on a spreadsheet and look at what is actually coming in and what are you actually spending your money on. Because as a business owner, you have to run your life like a CEO. And this is one of the big portions that a lot of people don't talk about or they don't do. Number 3, so once you already categorized everything, you looked at what's coming in and what's going out. Number 3 is, how do you increase that? Now, there's multiple ways, which we talked about on the channel, to increase the current money that you're making. If you're working just one job, is there a way that you can either get a higher pay increase, or is there a way that you can shift to another job that pays you more? There's a lot of different avenues, and I'll do a whole video if you guys are interested in talking about this. But be creative, kind of sit down. Do you have enough time to get a second job? And figure out some of the things that it takes to actually get that next level. Number 4 is how can you keep that money once it does come in? So earlier we talked about our expenses and actually decreasing those to make more money. But what about once you are making more money? How do you keep it and how do you leverage it? Well, when I'm doing my budget, I like to have a secondary category or a different bank where I keep some of that money in, so it's either growing interest or I'm using it for investments or educational things to build my skills. So have a separate account or a separate place where you can put that money to the side as you are growing it, or at least getting it to increase on interest within the bank. Again, we don't want it to sit there too long, as we want to try and maximize it and increase it over a long period of time, but that's for another video. Keep being creative and actually think through this stuff about what you can do with those extra $10, $15, $20 that you may be making and get it to grow and increase in a different avenue. Now, number 5, when I'm doing my budget, and this is the last one that's very important, is I like to create time frames. So again, I look through my budget and I do these select things every single month to make sure that I'm increasing my knowledge and my skill set, but also that I'm keeping an eye on where I need my money to go and what I need to do. And again, as I mentioned earlier, being a CEO of your finances is the first step in actually starting your business and getting your business to run more efficiently. You have to make sure that you're knowing what your dollars are doing and if they're doing more work for you or if they're costing you more time. Take a look, be creative, be patient with this process. It's going to take you probably years to get as good as you really want to get and hone down on it. But that practice that you're doing now with your personal finances is going to translate to you doing it with your business. Now, going back to time frames, I like to do this every single month, and I like to at least do it halfway through the month, is at least take a look at my bank statements and my account and see how much money I have in there, so that way I'm building these habits slowly. Now at the end of the month, I'll go through, I'll look, I'll see where I spent too much money and see where I can cut back at, and then I'll analyze it. And then at the end of the year, after the 12 months, I will do a big overhaul of goals and things that I want to set for next year. Now, also when it comes to time frames is, are you taking the money that you're making now and you solely invest it into your business, or are you investing it into other skills? Those are things that you need to know. And then also, what is the time frame that you want to either save up for that car, save up for that business expense, or save up for that new house? Look at those time frames as well, because that's going to determine how much you're cutting back on your budget, or where you're increasing stuff at your budget, or are you increasing hours at your work. Find a time frame that works for you and your intensity level of where you want to go and how you want to budget, and then work from there. Again, like I said, I am very, very intense on making my money work for me. So that means I cut back on a lot of things that I don't necessarily need. For example, when it comes to food or eating out, or when it comes to getting Starbucks and different things like that, sometimes I'll cut back on those if I know that my goal is coming up, or I have to make a really big business purchase coming up soon. I'll cut back on some of those things so I can actually make that happen. But again, look at your time frame, look at how much you want to grow and where you want to take it. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. And I just want to do a quick recap so that way you guys know the 5 categories that you need to look at when doing your budget. The first one is categories in itself. Where's your money coming in from and where are your expenses going? Break those down. Number 2 is actually looking at what are you keeping at the end of the month and what are you keeping at the end of your paychecks after everything is paid. Number 3 is how can you increase that money and get it to start growing for you. Number 4 is how are you actually keeping that money in your account and actually letting it grow and actually not putting it out anywhere. And 5 is what is your time frame and what is your intensity level when it comes to your budget. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you leave any comments below or any questions that you might have or things that I didn't cover. You can go ahead and leave those in the comments and I'll answer them for you. Also, feel free to comment or follow our social media, $1 Trillion Minds. We'd love to have you and love to have you following the mission. So as always, let's get to work.